Welcome back to Stars and Dogs. Our guest who joins us now tonight is Rick Pennycooke. He is president of the Lakeshore Group, and tonight we've got Battle of the Baristas. Nice to have you with us.
Always good to be here.
His star tonight, wait for it, we've been telling people we weren't going to tell them, is Tim Hortons. His dog is Starbucks, and we're going to talk more about that and get a little more color on that. But first, staying true to our format, we're going to give you 30 seconds to tell us why you like Tim Hortons. So you've got 30 seconds starting now.
Well, Tim's is a habitual and value-based brand in Canada. They're an iconic brand, and they're an everyman brand. They cater to low income and high income. Everybody likes them. Done very well in picking up suburban locations, and they're doing extremely well in picking up urban locations in very dense areas, and I think that that's really important for them. Not just coffee, obviously, and not just donuts. I've got a full array of food for people.
Oh, there's the bell. Andy?
Yeah, certainly they're infiltrating downtown Toronto. But when they went public, though, a lot of people were saying the big buzz, the growth is going to come from America. And it's been a kind of a mixed performance down there in the States so far. I mean, they're up against such competition.
Oh, they are up against a lot of competition, but I think that they've done really well. Think of it, about the Canadian retailers that have gone down there and just flamed out. They've gone down there, they haven't gone big, they've stayed in the north and rolled out sort of incrementally. And they're doing well against you know, Dunkin' Donuts and places like that. I think that it's working out well for them.
Well, let's take a listen to what some people had to say. As we mentioned before we went to break a few moments ago, we found a location in Toronto where we actually have a Tim Hortons right beside a Starbucks, and we sent a producer down there to see the kinds of people who were going into each one. So let's listen to someone, and they're being asked why do they choose Tim Hortons over Starbucks.
I wouldn't. That's Yankee. It's Yankee. And Tim Hortons is Canadian. And not only that, I have Tim Hortons shares.
Just it actually tastes better. I mean, why would you go into a place and you ask for a coffee and they give you, oh, what flavor do you want? Yeah, I don't care what flavor as long as it's coffee, I guess.
It's lovely to go to Tim Hortons because I love the taste, and especially the price of the Tim Hortons is very much lower than the Starbucks.
Honestly, because it'll roll up the rim. I prefer Starbucks coffee though. But I have a feeling someone's got to get lucky because no one has. So that's honestly the reason.
The taste is good and it's cheap.
Wow, that really covers the gamut of everything. They talked about price, they talked about contests, they talk about owning shares in it, and also not being that Yankee company.
Yeah, but they also talked about taste.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting because a lot of times you hear about Starbucks coffee is it tastes burnt. That's something that a lot of people say.
Quite bitter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a very important distinction with between Tim's and Starbucks.
We're going to get into this in a second, but also when the producer was telling us when he was standing outside, the volume going to Tim Hortons was steady.
It was higher.
Not so much volume going into Starbucks. I mean, people, and people didn't actually have time to talk. They just want to get in, get out, get their coffee, and keep on moving, which is part of the efficiency of that place.
Definitely. You can be in line waiting for your tailor-made latte at Starbucks, and you may just be fed up with waiting and paying at the same time.
It's a huge issue apparently in the States, the lines. And these new fancy machines, they're worried that it's going to lengthen, at Starbucks, they're worried it's going to lengthen the wait.
Right.
What about from a growth perspective, though? I mean, Timmy's, everyone loves it, we know it. We don't need to kind of talk about the proposition there, but it's more that how on earth do they really grow in Canada from here? I mean, I know they're getting more urban penetration because there's still not a lot, I know, in this city. But I know, in the Maritimes, for example, they've got driver's side and passenger side drive-thrus every 50 meters you go to. So, so how are they going to grow?
Well, I think that they'll still, try to max out on the suburban drive-through locations, but their growth is really going to be in the urban areas. There's a lot of real estate that they can fill up in downtown Toronto and Vancouver and Calgary. So I still think that they've got a lot of years left, but that's where I think you're going to see the growth.
So I guess the footprint is not that big for a store.
That's right.
You can put it into a storefront. You see them sandwiched into little places now in downtown Toronto.
That's right. And you see what they offer at a lot of gas stations as well.
Yeah,
you walk in, they still offer the same range, but very small footprint.
All right, let's get to the losing side of the Battle of the Baristas. Starbucks is your dog. You've got 30 seconds to tell us why, starting now.
Very high-priced, discretionary purchase. They did well when they came out. They started a trend, and they rode the trend really well. I just think the trend is done. High-priced coffee, I just don't think has the buzz, if I can say that anymore, that it used to. People want taste, and they want at a good price point, and I think Starbucks is going to have to retool completely. They've brought back their old CEO, which I think is a good thing, but spells what kind of trouble they're in.
Andy?
But they are taking the taste seriously, it seems. I mean, these initiatives they announced yesterday, they're going to be grinding the coffee so it'll smell beautiful in the stores.
Right.
Presumably Tim Hortons would never go that far. It's just not part of their model.
Not in the efficiency model.
Customers don't care that much. But they are bringing in these single brew machines. I guess the risk there is it's really going to slow things down, but it'll be probably nicer coffee when they're done.
Right. Well, they're doing a lot of things. They want to bring in a lot of different food products, energy drinks and wellness products, and more food. But as you talk about those things, I just think that they're just trying to take a page out of Tim Hortons' book. And so I think in a few years we're going to see a completely different Starbucks than we're used to seeing today.
All right, well, let's hear from some of those people who are frequenting, again, this is people going into Starbucks that was right beside Tim Hortons being asked, why are you going to Tim Hortons or to Starbucks instead of Tim Hortons?
It's hard because Tim Hortons, it's like part of our culture, Canadian brand, but this is quality. I don't know, I just enjoy it so much more. Yeah, not much more to say. There's less lineups as well. And just the whole look and feel of the store, I just prefer it there.
It's not a matter of the coffee, it's a matter of the ambience. You want to sit in a place that's got plastic chairs and the whole interior design is plastic, or do you want to sit in a place that's comfortable, relaxed, adds to the atmosphere, the ambience? That's what makes a difference.
Starbucks, laid back. Tim Hortons, get in, get out. I don't know. If I wanted to relax and drink my coffee, I'd definitely go to Starbucks as opposed to Tim Hortons.
Starbucks, people are working, reading a book. It's just very relaxed sort of environment. People are kind of laid back and chilling out and just sort of relaxing. And Tim Hortons more kind of hustle and bustle, very busy, very rushed.
Of course, part of the reason there's not so much of a lineup is because there's not as many people going there, which is part of the issue. But you know, they have a good point, and people want ambience.
Yeah.
And you know, they want ambience. They want to be able to relax and enjoy things. Starbucks still does have that.
Yeah, and I think that's what they did really well. They created an experience, which is something that all retailers have to be concerned about. But I think that their experiences has zoomed past their product and their price point, and those things, if they get out of balance, you've got a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's really part of the American subconscious now, those, you know, Starbucks is part of their mental landscape, so it's going to be around for a long time.
Yes.
You just think the growth...
The growth, I've always believed that they had far too many outlets. They just grew, you know, too much, and I think that they were growing sort of on the instructions of financial people rather than, you know, looking at the business model. But I think they're going to change, and clearly in the announcements made by Schultz in the past week, they are going to change their format completely and what they have to offer and how they're going to offer it. And they've never been there before, right?
Yeah, they're offering pretty rich rewards to loyal customers, people who join their loyalty program. You get free top-ups and stuff like that.
Here's the reason why you might want to pay attention to what Rick was saying, because he had a dog call in the last time he was on, and it's been a dog. Lululemon, LLL and the TSX, on November 9th when he was here, it was $37.77. Today, a lovely $28.28. It is down 25%. So you said it was a dog. Do you still leave it, or now do you?
Love it.
It's still barking like the dog, but it is. Tell
me, but I mean, because those stores are crowded. They are packed full of people.
Yeah.
What's the disconnect?
It's a trend, and it's a heavy trend.
Yoga.
And I don't, yoga. And I really don't think that has legs. And also this sort of faux environmentalism. You remember, you know, Seaweed Gate, or you remember all of that? I just think that it's really just a flash. I wouldn't say a flash in the pan, but I don't think it really has legs in the format that it is now. It's going to look like any other sporting retailer in a few years, if they're lucky to stay around.
And on that, we're going to have to leave it. But great having you with us, Rick. Thank you so much.
Always good to be here.
And on a stay, I think yoga might stick around for a little longer.
Yeah.
So, Rick Pennycooke, president of the Lakeshore Group. I'm Kim Parley, and for Andrew Bell, thank you so much for watching. Have a great long weekend, and we will see you again very soon.
or buying a new house.